All right, I'm going to get started. I am recording this just so that if folks couldn't make it, I can post this later and they can um, listen in if they would like to. So we started doing these info sessions last year for our races, and we got some great feedback from people. Just as being another source of information, and there always seems to be kind of questions out there that they just need answers to. So this is a great opportunity for folks to kind of hear how the day's going to go and also ask questions if you have any. So I tend to keep these pretty informal. I do have kind of my set list of things that we'll go through, which is pretty standard. But again, if you have questions, feel free to ask, and we'll just take it from there. So the first thing I'm going to roll through is just registration. I think we're on a new registration site this year. We've told everyone that a lot. So if they're having a hard time finding it, it's not the old one, it's the new one, which is masters.adminskiracing.com. If you can't find it, you can do a couple of things. First, I'm going to share my screen here. You can go to our website, nemsracing.org. You can go scroll right down, race registration, click on that. It'll bring you right there. Or if you want, you can just type in masters.adminskiracing.com. Either way. Once you're on there, all registrations need to be online. We do everything online now, so make sure that you are registering for our races on this site. If you have an account, you're all set. You already know what to do. I'm guessing most people already have an account, which is great. And if you don't, you can just go right here, create a new one. It takes just a couple of minutes. It's basic questions, just to kind of, basically contact info and things like that. Anything you would get at a typical race, regardless of whether it's a master's race or not. So once you're in here, you just plug in your information and it'll bring you over and you'll see event sign up, New England, and there's the Hochgebirge race. Okay, pretty straightforward. And if you have a red unregistered, that means you're registered for the race. All right, we did have a glitch in there this week, which I did email everyone on. It was green and everyone went in there and thought they weren't registered, and we had a lot of duplicates, but we went in there, we cleaned it up, and we fixed it. So everyone should be okay now. So we should be good there. But, and if you're new to the site and if you're kind of curious, if you want to know a little bit more about the race or who's coming, just click on this, the title of the race there, and you can see the pricing. You can see when registration ends and when the event starts. There's a little bit of information about the race over here, which we'll talk about in just a minute. You can scroll down. You can see every single racer that is currently coming to this race. You can sort. I know everyone likes to kind of see who's racing in their class. Little competition. See who you're kind of racing against. So you can sort by class. You can sort by name, first, last. You all get the gist there. So a little bit of information there. But also what you can do is if you really want to get information on start times and registration and all that stuff, there's the info sheet that Kip puts together is located right here. And this usually has pretty much 90% of the information you're looking for is going to be located on here. So you can just click it. It's PDF, brings it open, and you get your registration times. You get what trail is it on? When does the inspection start? When does it close? When does the first race start? When does the second one start potentially? Obviously you don't really know until the first one's done. We've got our bib return, for you. Face coverings. We'll go through all this in a little bit more detail in just a few minutes, but I always encourage people to look at the race info sheet before you reach out for questions, because there's a good chance that the answer is on this sheet. That's why we put them together. So again, take a look at that. So when you are signing up for this event, a couple of key things to keep in mind that would really help us out in your profile, which you need to create in here. We really do want you to have a USSS number in there. That would be a huge help for us, and in particular, Kip and Lucy, so they're not kind of having to reach out to you and figure out, if you have a current license or not. And we'll go through that in just a minute too. But also a credit card on file for when we charge for the race after the event. That would be great as well. It's something we don't charge for our events until after, and we do that intentionally because we know that, life happens and things change, and we don't want to charge you for an event and have to, go back out and credit and like do all this other stuff. Like, we'll just deal with it after the race. So, so just make sure your information is current and up to date. That would be very helpful for both Stacy and Kip and Lucy on the administrative side of things. I wanted to go through a couple of important updates or reminders rather that I think, are worth kind of mentioning. So the first thing is, this is a USSS sanctioned race, and therefore you need a USSS master's license. If you've raced in this event before, it's no different. There's no change there. If you don't have a USSS master's license, you can get a short-term one. If you're not really doing a lot of these races, probably doesn't make sense to get a full-term license. The short-term ones are available online on US Ski and Snowboard website, and they're $35. We also do have some comped ones available. I would recommend, if you have questions on that, you can reach out to Lucy, who's our RA, at nemastersra@gmail.com. You can also go on US Ski and Snowboard's website, and under membership, you can see all the information about the short-term membership there as well. So again, you do need that. If you have questions, there is a lot of information online that's pretty easy to get on US Ski and Snowboard's website. You can always reach out to Lucy if you're struggling and really just need a little guidance, or if you have questions on the comp ticket as well.
Hey, Matt,
yes.
Matt, quick question. What about, can you do a day of sign up, or is there any forms to do, like as far as short-term USSA?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We're not doing any day of signups. We've done that in the past, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First off, a couple of years ago, everything moved over for the license. Everything moved over to digital. We used to have paper that we could give to somebody when they showed up for a license. They'd fill it out, and that was that. US Ski and Snowboard went away with that. They don't take paper anymore, so everything has to be done digitally, which complicates things for day of registration. It also, day of stuff makes it a little bit more difficult for us to confirm if a license is up to date or not, which is really important. If you don't have a current license, you can't be in the race. And, the Wi-Fi and the internet up there is not always great, which you probably know better than anyone, probably. So it's not really something our RA, Lucy, really can and should be doing when she's trying to kind of get everyone kind of set up for the race. So, and also, quite honestly, we're trying to limit the amount of exposure for Lucy, as she's getting, every single racer kind of has to come and cross paths with her. We're really trying to limit the amount of time people are spending there, and signing up day of actually does take a decent amount of time. And now everything being online, it's just taking a little longer. So I would encourage, if anyone from the Hawk House is planning on coming, that they reach out if they're having issues, or if they intend on coming. I know a lot of people wait till last minute. That's, it is what it is, but they really need to be registered by the deadline, which is Friday, tomorrow at noon, 12 p.m. noon. And, we can take registrations after, but it's really best efforts. And, you would have to, they would have to reach out to Lucy and Kip and get that done. So we really do encourage people to, get their entries in by the deadline. It really doesn't take much effort to do it if you're online at home in front of your computer on your phone. But it's just not something we're going to do day of this year.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be up there with Cat Whalen will be there, and I'll be there too for registration in the morning.
Okay, so it's also important, and I'll get to the team stuff in just a minute, but it's also important to note that our registration with Lucy will actually be separate from you or whoever's doing the stuff for the team. Lucy's going to have her own. She'll be in, I think there's another little building in front of the Performance Center, and that's strictly for the RA, which is Lucy. So whoever's representing the Hawk House is going to need to be inside the Performance Center, probably not outside because it's going to be 2 degrees in the morning.
Right. Okay.
But those two things are separate, and we do need to kind of keep people away from Lucy. Just again, we don't have a big staff. We have a Lucy of 1, so I can't lose her because somebody got her sick. So I'm trying to keep everyone away from her as best as possible. So we'll cover that in just a minute, though, and that's something we'll have to figure out. So it's a good question.
Matt,
though.
a question.
Yes.
Question. Thank you, Matt. You mentioned the need for a U.S. ski and snowboard license. I'm assuming that a membership is the same thing.
A membership for what?
I have a membership. I got a membership in the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Association, and I have a number, and that's what I'm using to enroll in the events,
So
the races.
it really depends on what kind of membership you have. You do need a master's license. Some of these membership licenses that US Ski and Snowboard put out, the master's is actually included. And sometimes it's just a phone call to tell them to add it. Without knowing what you actually have, I don't really want to speak to say yes or no what you have, but if you want to shoot me an email, or maybe you can shoot Lucy an email as well.
Yeah.
We can check on that for you, and we can let you know so that you have enough time to kind of get in touch with them if you need to.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so moving on, another important, and this is new this year, is the helmet requirement. So obviously helmets are required for this race. They've kind of always been required, but a new requirement from US Ski and Snowboard is that all helmets for sanctioned GS, Super G, and downhill events have to have that FIS sticker on the back. It looks, in case you're wondering what that looks like, it looks like this. All right, it's pretty unique sticker. It's on the back of the helmet. And so that is new this year. We did kind of push that off as long as possible, but it is finally made its way down to us. And so given that this is a sanctioned GS event, every helmet kind of needs to have that sticker, and you'll see it right on the back of the helmets right back here. And so really what'll happen is, if you have that, we do have, officials there, Alpine officials that work that race. They will be looking for that. So, if you can roll the dice if you want, I would not recommend it. We don't want you showing up without a helmet and then not being able to race. That would really stink. So, just make sure you have it, or you can get your hands on one. I don't know that you can probably buy one at this point and get it shipped. That would be really remarkable in this day and age that we're in right now. So, or you could stop by a ski shop. If you have a US Ski and Snowboard license, usually you get a discount at a number of the shops in the area. They'll give you a discount if they have the helmets. So again, you need to have that FIS decal on the back of your helmet. That's kind of a non-negotiable thing this year. It's new. So any questions on that? I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward, but we've put that out there on newsletters and other communications, and it's on the info sheet. So hopefully everyone has kind of gotten the memo, but we just want to make sure that's crystal clear. So what else? We've covered no day of registration. So I think, and that's also on the info sheet. Hopefully everyone sees that. We usually have a decent amount of walk-ins at this race. So we definitely don't want to be sending anyone away, but unfortunately, that's kind of the nature of it. Again, registration closes tomorrow on Friday at noon, 12 p.m. noon. So make sure that's kind of taken care of ahead of time. We always have people that are procrastinators, or they're just waiting on a schedule to kind of firm up, which I get. So just try to stay ahead of it. Really quick here. So going to the info sheet, registration will open at 7:30. That's pretty consistent. The race does not start at 7:30. You don't need to be there at 7:30. Okay. I want to make that crystal clear. But Lucy and Kip will be there at 7:30 and ready for registration, and it will go till 8:30. So try to get there, maybe by 8 o'clock, just to kind of give yourself enough time. But registration will be outside. Again, Lucy will have, there's this little building in front of the performance center. She'll be in there. And what you'll need to do is walk up. If you've been to a race already, you likely already have a bib, unless, your only race was Wachusett, where we didn't use our bibs. But if you went to Whaleback, you should have a bib already. And if by some chance you don't, then, we'll have a bib hopefully for you at Mittersill. And the bibs are assigned to you for the season, just like we did last year. That worked out pretty well. So we're going to do it again. And so you will hold on to that bib for the season. So if you are coming back for another race with us, you hold on to that bib. It's kind of yours for the season. We just ask that you kind of keep it in good shape, maintain it, clean it, etc., and return it when you have your last race. If this is your last one, if you're a one and done, or Mittersill just happens to be your last race, if you did Whaleback or Wachusett, you want to return that bib at the end, and there'll probably be a mesh bag at the finish line where you can toss that bib in. That's typically what Lucy does. It's very, very straightforward. It says bibs right on it, and it's usually right in the finish corral. And so I would probably plan on that, or we'll have someone outside collecting it. Either way, you don't want to walk home with that. And you want to make sure that you return your bib. If you are done racing with us for the season, you want to make sure you return your bib after your last run. And you don't need it to go get on a lift, so you shouldn't go free skiing with your bib. You should return it. You'll have a lift ticket. And so we really just don't want to have Lucy waiting around to get your bib back while you're out doing a tour of Cannon or Mittersill. That's just not what we want to have happen. So again, the bib will be at registration for you if you don't have it already. It's yours for the season. And if you're done after this race, just return it and you're all set. And if you're not sure if you're coming back, we suggest that you return your bib just in case. We can always issue you a new bib. It's really not a big deal. We'd rather do that than have you need to ship it back to us or something like that. So pretty straightforward. Let's see here. The other thing at registration is regarding lift tickets. There should be a mountain representative with Lucy at registration that will be handling the lift tickets. All right. And so it's important that if you do not need a lift ticket, all right. So if you have a pass to Cannon Mittersill, or if you have, I think, an Indy Plus pass, or any one of the other passes that would give you access to the mountain, you do not require a lift ticket from us on Saturday. You need to tell us that so that we can indicate, or not we, but the representative can indicate that you did not take a ticket, because you will get a lower price by doing that. All right. So the race price for you will be $50. All right. Which is a great deal. All right. It's $79 for everyone else. If you have a season's pass or just you do not need a pass, it's $50. All right, but it's your responsibility to let us know that. All right, so if you don't tell us, we're just going to assume you're a full price racer. Okay, so it's really important that you tell us that. Any questions on that? I just covered a bunch of stuff.
Is Lucy gonna be outside the main lodge or the Mittersill lodge? Because they built a new lodge over there.
Yeah, she'll be outside the
There's a
new
new lodge
performance
at the
center at
base.
Mittersill.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
The
Okay.
other one's torn down, I think.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
thank
not-
you.
Yeah, not that little one. Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah.
The other one's
Thankfully,
gone.
yeah. So you should be all set. Any other questions? Okay,
There's no ice on the hill. We skied it today. It's all powder.
all right.
It's all powder on the hill.
Well, we'll have to,
It's all
we'll have to,
cold
Yeah,
powder.
it's a little
Good-
rough. There's a
In good
couple of
conditions. No, it's in
couple
good.
of icy
Oh,
chunks.
mother, no.
Well,
Where?
we'll have to move some of that snow off.
They're the best I've ever seen it.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah, they had the best snow there today.
sweet.
Old mile.
Matt, is there some way to test if you know that we have a pass somewhere?
I mean, you probably should know if you have a pass somewhere or not.
I know I have a pass somewhere and I know I put it into the system, but I want to make sure that it got in. Is there any way for me to know that it got in?
I mean, you need to tell us at the registration. So if you have a
Oh, okay.
pass that doesn't require you to take a ticket, you need to tell us that.
Okay,
And we can probably confirm it with what you put on your profile, which I think is
Yeah.
what you're referring to. But,
Yep.
you know, this is something new we're trying this year. We've had people asking us to get discounts for pass holders for years, and it's been a really hard kind of battle. And we've kind of finally made, you know, enough traction on it where we're able to offer these discounts, but we need a little bit of help from the racers. So, you know, you can indicate on your profile if you have a pass and we'll look at that. But ultimately this year, at least it's going to be the racer's responsibility to let us know if you don't need a ticket so we can take care of you appropriately.
Hey, Matt,
Yes.
a question. This is Don again. I'm sorry to take you back to my point earlier. I just wanted to say, my US Ski and Snowboard membership card says on it, Alpine Masters 8. I mean, would that be telling me that I know I signed up for Masters as part of this? I'd be happy to send you a copy of it.
Yeah. Kip, do you want to weigh in on this? Do you have any idea?
You probably have to join.
Yeah,
it.
no, that sounds right. I mean, everybody signed up for, there's a couple people that haven't, need some updates to their
Yours
license.
is fine, Don.
Yours is fine.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. I thought
Eight
so.
is the class you're in.
Right, got it. All right, thank you for that. Sorry, Matt.
No, it's fine. I'm happy to know that you're okay.
All right, me too.
Yeah. The last thing we need is you got the wrong license. I'm sure it's happened before, unfortunately. So you're all set, Don.
Thank you.
Okay, so really quick on the Performance Center. I think a couple of people have been to Mittersill already and seen it. And so that's a brand new building that's been in the works for years. It's finally come to fruition and they cut the ribbon on it this fall. And it's a beautiful structure. It's 2 levels. That's where we're going to be. All right. And Mittersill and the Performance Center and the parking lot and the trail and the lift, everything is really self-contained at this mountain. And I think most people have been there before and know kind of what to expect, but we definitely do have a few people that have never been there before or never done a race there before. And so might be unfamiliar with kind of how things, you know, look and feel. And so just to kind of give you an idea of how it will look, just minimize this here. So, you know, obviously this is just a map off of Canon's website. You know, And most of us will probably be coming from the south. There's 93, there's your exit to Cannon. You get off at Echo Lake. So to get to Mittersill, you're just gonna drive down, you're gonna drive right through Cannon, right, past their parking lots. You'll kind of continue down that road for about another half a mile to a mile. Again, really straightforward. And then there's an entrance right here and you'll see a sign for it. You cut in there and then Mittersill's parking lot is right here. This is their parking lot. It's not that big. It's pretty straightforward. They haven't updated their map yet, but the performance center is right here. It's not this. This is the Alpine Resort. This thing has been there since, the 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, it looks old too. So it's not this. All right. I want to make sure no one's showing up to the Alpine Resort. Not affiliated. There's a structure right here. So you park here, you walk over to the performance centers right here. Lucy's thing will be there too. The T-bar is right here. This is our trail. T-bar takes you right up to the top of the trail. We race right on that trail. Everything is self-contained right here. It's really nice. You can take this chairlift up and you can go rip some runs down Barrens if you want, to warm up or throughout the day. It's your call, but it's real. Mittersill is really nice for racing in that your parking is right next to the lodge. The lodge is next to the lift and the trail is right off the lift. All right, even the start, which now there's actually a start house up there. So it's definitely a lot different than it was 2 years ago, which is really cool. So in case you're just not familiar with it, I just wanted to kind of show you what to kind of expect and where to go. So you'll see probably masters in the parking lot here hanging out. I don't think it's probably best to get ready in the parking lot on Saturday. It's going to be 2 degrees, I think, in the morning when you show up, probably even a little bit chillier. Walk over to the base lodge. You can do some research online about what the lodge is like, but it's a pretty big area. It can fit a lot of people comfortably. It's 2 levels. It's right at the base of the Taft training slope. So you have a perfect line of sight up the trail, which is great. So you can warm up and you can see what's going on. And, if you're on live timing, you can kind of see it and, see the results kind of in real time, which is great. So I think that's pretty straightforward, but in case you're not familiar with the area or you've never been to the race there, that's kind of where you're gonna be.
Matt, thanks.
Yes.
I have not ever been to the area, so I'll be traveling from out of state using, my GPS. So
Yeah.
is it off of 93? Is it actually called Mittersill Road that I would plug in?
You can probably
That's good.
plug in, if you plug in Cannon,
Yeah,
it'll get you there because you're going to get off exit 34C.
yeah,
All right. I'm assuming you're coming from the south.
yes, yeah,
Okay. So this is 93 right here.
okay,
All right. And so you'll get off exit 34C, this Echo Lake. Cannon is right here. So if you drive through Cannon, you'll drive like right through the main, like there's 2 parking lots. You can't miss it. You just keep going. And I think there's a sign that says Mittersill this way or something like that. And it's just like call it a half a mile down the road and you'll see the entrance to Mittersill's parking lot right here. It's a quick left, a quick right. You go down, you'll see the parking lots right here.
okay,
and
thank
if
you.
Yeah, and if you go too far, you'll probably see the slope and you've passed it already. And if you see Mittersill Alpine Resort, you've gone too far and you just got to turn around. The good news is you're not going to go too far out of the way. And so you won't overshoot your landing by too much.
I think they have race registration signs up, right, Carl?
They will. They'll be out on the road and heading in towards the parking lot.
Yeah. If it wasn't so cold, I'd have one of those guys out there jumping around with a sign, saying enter here, like, the used car dealerships or something, but you'll be fine. It's a
Thank you.
pretty straightforward trip to kind of make. So before we get into the actual race, I wanted to talk a little bit about the team aspect, which is the Hochgebirge Challenge, which is the name of the race. And, if you've been to the race before, we've been doing this race for decades. It's a staple on the NEMS race circuit, and there's some legendary stories that have come out of this weekend. And so the Hochgebirge race is actually a team format. So it's the only race this season we'll have that actually has a team aspect to it. And so really it's a competition within our race. So if you're racing, you're going to do your typical masters, races. And then, you can form a team, or you can be on multiple teams too. That's your call. By doing that, you'll give yourself a chance to get your name forever etched on one of these historic trophies that reside at the Hochgebirge house up the road. And
Actually, Matt, the team award trophy is actually in a glass case in the museum. It's held there, and then the other two, the fastest male, fastest female awards are also in the museum, but we're going to bring them over so that people can see them, because it is a legendary, it's probably the longest standing alpine race in all North America. It's been running.
Yeah. So I forgot that they're actually in a museum, which just further cements the historic significance of these things. And then the overall team one is like a Stanley Cup type thing. I mean, this thing is massive, and it's got layers, and it's got stories behind it. Legendary stories that we won't get into on this call. But so in order to get on a team, I will send out, we have a team form. I don't have it up right here, but actually I have it right here, actually. Hold on. So this is the Hawk. Yeah. Same form. So I will email this out. If you're interested in doing a team, you should come up with a team of 4. Come up with a fun team name. No boring names, please. I'm just kidding. You can come up with whatever you want. But creativity is always encouraged. And, fill your racers out. If, Lily or someone from the house will be there to collect this form from you, and they will have some copies there. But it is encouraged that you just fill it out ahead of time and have one person bring it and drop it off. It's pretty straightforward, your name, your class, and then someone will fill in your combined times at the end. You don't have to do that. How could you? So they'll take care of that for you. And then here are the rules down here. Lily, is the Hawk sticking with the cost? I didn't take that out.
No, because we usually have a party,
Right.
beer, wine, and a whole dinner. So, and given that very few people actually even carry cash, we're going to hold off on that and not do the $20. And hopefully
Okay,
that'll
so
not be
I'll
there.
update the form.
Okay.
Just to strip that out, but the money used to go to the Hochgebirge, but there'll be no money for teams this year. We will not be doing our after party at the Hawk. I'll get to that in just a second. It's an unfortunate circumstance of just kind of what's going on right now with Omicron and COVID in general, and stuffing a whole Masters race into a tight house in the middle of something like that is just not good. So anyways, so you figure it out, you hand it into the Hawk representative, and that's it. It's pretty straightforward. And, there are a couple of different categories. So you have a mixed, an all female in class, and there's also fastest male and fastest female, I think, right, Lily?
Yep.
Okay. And they'll figure out the timing at the end, and then during awards, we'll announce the winners. So it's usually a pretty cool experience. And, we've had a who's list of Masters racers get their name on those trophies over the years. So it's always a fun kind of experience to kind of reminisce on some of those things. So, Lily, anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's good. I'm glad to know that we'll be, Kat and I will be inside the Performance Center so that people can sign up or just drop off their forms. And I think it takes us a little, Derek is actually, he's going to help me with the timing. So, because that does take a little bit of time for us to calculate the timing. So the awards will be a little bit later, you know, in that sense. So just to note that.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out. Okay. Moving on, during the race. Let's see, it's gonna be cold on Saturday. And I would encourage everyone during the race to bring jackets down for your fellow racers. You know, it's pretty easy to kind of get around over there. We do have red mesh bags that we can stuff jackets into. So please consider, you know, doing a lap with some jackets and bringing them down, whether you want to put them in a bag or, you know, stuff jackets in jackets or whatever you want to do, but it's going to be pretty cold. So, you know, it's always better if, you know, you've got a jacket waiting for you at the bottom. So, and if you see a red bag, a red mesh bag that says NEMS Racing on it at the bottom, just bring it up to the top if the race is still going on. If the race is not going on, if we're done, just bring it inside or, you know, find me. We'd like to not lose those bags if possible. Just, you know, one less thing we have to kind of deal with there, but we do have those. So, you know, stay warm in the Performance Center. You know, again, it's right there, which is a big, you know, value add to this whole, you know, kind of areas. You can easily kind of go in and out and be right next to the race course. So just stay warm. You know, it is going to be cold pretty much most of the day. It is the middle of winter in New England. So I know that's terrible to hear it's going to be cold, but we are a winter sport. So it does get cold. All right. Food options in the Performance Center are, from what I understand, are limited. You're not going to have a full blown kind of cafeteria like some other base lodges, unfortunately. It
Actually,
might be,
Matt, I don't think there's any, I think there's a couple microwaves, but other than that,
Yeah.
it's your own food.
yeah. So bring your own, I would recommend bringing your own food. I wasn't sure if they were going to have anything similar to what we used to do over at Ernie's, where, you know, Franconia Ski Club would be selling stuff. So not
No.
yet. Okay.
I don't think.
Okay. So, you know, recommend bringing food. There's microwaves there. You could bring whatever you want to microwave. Or you could, if you wanted to, you can go over to the main lodge. That's obviously open and available to you. So you can kind of scoot over there if you want, but I would just consider bringing some food. Also the internet up there, I think if you've been up there, sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not. You are up in Franconia. So if you're going to strictly rely on the internet for live timing, you know, just be aware of the fact that you might lose internet. You know, you know, but you're going to be able to see the race from there. So you should have a pretty good idea of, you know, when you need to kind of get out of the lodge and get on that rope tow up to the top. So just kind of keep that in mind. Hopefully the race will be on live timing. It's been on live timing in the past. So I think that's the plan, at least, is to kind of get it up there. And we will communicate out when second run will be, and inspection and all that stuff usually is about an hour after the first run. You know, again, we can only estimate right now because you just never know how the first run's going to go and how long it will take. So just keep an eye out for that. After the race, we'll have awards. Awards will be outside. We have to do awards outside because it's a sanctioned event. I know it's going to be cold, so we're gonna do some quick awards. We don't want anyone getting sick. We don't want anyone kind of freezing out there. It's just, you know, not fun. So we're going to do our best to kind of keep it moving, and, you know, and just try to have some fun with it, and also kind of make sure we incorporate the Hawk history and talk about their trophies and all that stuff that we always love talking about at the Hawk Hilton every year. we will definitely make sure to kind of include that. But just to kind of, as a reminder, awards will be done outside. I would say probably about an hour after we finish. It's going to take a little bit of time to get results. And then obviously Lily and her folks have some time that they need to kind of figure out the winners for the Hawk stuff. So I'd give it about an hour. So if you want, you can go free skiing, good option, or you can just kind of hang out and get undressed and get changed and bring your stuff to your car and come back. It's your call, but kind of plan on that. So one of the things that we used to always enjoy at the Hawk Hilton was there was always a keg and wine and all that stuff. Obviously, we're not going to be at the Hawk Hilton this year. There will be no keg. There will be no bottles of wine, or any of that stuff. You really can't drink alcohol at the Performance Center. So, we're not going to have like cases of beer or any of that stuff up there. It's state property. It's frowned upon. So be smart. I can't tell you not to have a beer in the parking lot or something like that. But if you bring it up, like put it in a koozie or in a solo cup or something, and just be careful. There's kids around, like just be smart. We don't want anyone getting in trouble, and I don't want to get an email saying we got them in trouble because we had alcohol there. So just be aware that, it's a different setup than previous years. But granted, it's going to be pretty cold. So I don't think everyone's going to be there like wanting to do too much drinking anyway. So just be smart about it. So I think that's all I had. If, we've got, obviously Lily from the Hawk is here. We've got Kip and Lucy, who Kip is our TD. Lucy's our RA. Carl is on here. He works the race for Franconia Ski Club. So if there's any questions specific to the race or things you need, like this is a great time to ask because you have your experts on this call with you. So I'll open it up.
A question to you, Matt. I have, my husband wants to race, but it's the short-term membership is $210. This is the only race he's going to race.
No, that's the wrong membership. It's only 35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In the essence of time here, we obviously don't want him purchasing the wrong one. So
Right.
if you're having questions about that, just reach out. You can either reach out to me, and you have my email. We've been emailing. Or if you want to reach out to Lucy, she can help you. She's got some stuff right in her email to kind of guide you.
Okay.
But it's definitely not 200 and whatever dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be the most expensive short-term membership in history.
Yeah, I know. I was on my phone doing it, so I was just trying to find it.
Okay, yeah, don't
So-
press the purchase button on
Yeah.
that one.
No.
Thank you for asking. Any other questions?
That's it. Thank you.
You want to make sure he signs up by noon tomorrow too, before
Yeah.
noon tomorrow. Just email me.
I put the Christmas
Lucy,
tree
I
in.
don't have, what's your email, Lucy? Or I'll just email Matt. Or-
Just email Matt and he'll send it to me. He'll forward it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure you're connected tonight. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Anything else?
Let's see.
All right, well, if there's no other questions, I think we can probably call it a night. I'm going to send out a wax report tonight from Swix. Just got that today. So I'll be posting that out. And so if you're, you need to tune your skis, keep an eye out for that. And also I'll send out the team form so everyone can have that. And otherwise, look forward to a great day on Saturday. It's going to be a beautiful day, a little cold, but it won't be probably as bad as last week at Whaleback. And so I'm looking forward to checking out the new Performance Center, have functional plumbing, which is fantastic. The
Yeah.
little things, you know. But, you know, again, this is a historic race. What's that, Scott?
It's Scott Bassett,
Hey, Scott.
Masters coach for FSC.
Hi, Scott.
We're going to set up a nice course. We're going to have a great day. We got sun and it's not going to be as cold as last Saturday. So get as many people as you can. We're going to have a great time. We'll put on a nice show.
Yeah, we're
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it. We appreciate it. It's gonna be a fun day. And if Duncan and Susan's snow report is accurate, which I'm assuming it is, the snow is in excellent condition. So we should,
It is.
yeah, we should have a really, and the photos online, you know, on social media look great. So of training. So I'm really excited to get up there. You know,
Okay, well, thank you all for coming and thank you for doing the show tonight.
yeah. Thanks, Scott. We'll see you on Saturday. All right. Good night, everyone. And if you have any
Thanks.
questions, feel free to reach out and we'll take care of you as best we can. All right.
Thank you.